Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Secret Invasion. The trade paperback has come out, now retitled Secret Invasion Mission Earth. Um, because of the release of the new Disney Plus show, Secret Invasion, I wanted to go check out some comic books that you guys could read related to this. Now, of course, there is the original Secret Invasion, which is a really big, bombastic superhero event. But I opted for this one because this one's more of a spy thriller. I feel like this book meshes a little bit better with the tone of the story that's happening in the show. So hence I wanted to check it out. So let's talk about the creative team here before we do that. This is written by Ryan North, who's currently writing the Fantastic Four, with art by Francesco Mobili, colors by Jordie Bellaire, letters by Joe Caramagna. This was actually released on June 20th, just in time for the show. So if you haven't checked this out, if you haven't gone to the shop, I highly recommend you go pick this up. Let me give you a quick synopsis here. The Skrulls are back with a vengeance. When Maria Hill detects the merest hint of a Skrull activity, she immediately puts her defensive plans into action. Now, at this point, Maria Hill is working for the CIA. There's really not a Shield organization in the Marvel universe. Nick Fury is sent to investigate a sighting in Iowa, but he quickly finds out the last thing he was expecting. Earth's defenders are extremely motivated to ensure that this new Skrull invasion doesn't go the way the last one did. All Maria Hill needs to do is confirm that the Avengers are really who they claim to be and what could possibly go wrong. A familiar face from her past is behind the latest incursion, but are they acting alone? Soon Maria finds herself facing both betrayal and a choice. And what she chooses to decide will determine the fate of not just the Earth, but also the entire Skrull race. I mean, that sounds really, really intense. And look, I think, first of all, Ryan North is such a fantastic writer. He delivers a really fun mystery. And I think, like any good scroll story, there's a lot of misdirects, red herrings. So definitely the story puts you in the same place as the characters are, where you don't really know what's going on exactly. There's a lot of doors left to explore, a lot of passageways that are still in the dark, and all the characters kind of feel that way. Now we go through all this stuff from the point of view of Maria Hill, which is really interesting, right? I think for the most part, especially because the show focuses a lot more on Nick Fury, but I like this. Maria Hill's a great character. And I think this story just shows how much she can just carry a book like this, which is really, really cool. This story also manages to raise the stakes from the last Secret Invasion. I think the previous iteration of the story tied up a lot of loose ends that um, it tied up a lot of loose ends that would prevent something like this from happening again. But Ryan North and the team very smartly kind of bypass all those things, and it's very simple things that they do to raise those stakes. But also they make the conflict more of a gray area, right? I think in the past the conflict was very black and white. Scrolls are bad, all scrolls are bad. Whereas this one, I think, maybe a little bit guided by some of the decisions they've made in the films. Maybe not all scrolls are enemies, so it's really interesting to pull at those threads, and I think the team just really does that very well. Let's talk about the art. Mobili's art is fantastic. It just really fits very well. Whether it's a big intense sequence with action, a slow burning sequence of conversation, just really well paced conversations for the spy thriller genre, and to kind of build that tension, build that action that's happening, build the conflict between the characters. There's also really cool, just like big superhero shots gathering, because it is a big scroll event. The Avengers are involved. So you get to see a lot of characters, a lot of things that you wouldn't normally see in a small story like this. Um, but also the scroll transformations look pretty sick. I think Mobili just has this really interesting line work where things can look clean at one moment and then just kind of like not so much grotesque, but like really upsetting at the end. But yeah, the scroll transformations look great. I think the design of the scrolls is really interesting from artist to artist. And then We also have some moments that really define this as a spy thriller. Some very like some more quiet moments that Mobili really captures. Whether it's just a facial expression or a conversation or even just a posture, like how the characters are standing. I think Mobili does that very well. And of course, Jordie Bellaire. I mean, I can't say enough good things about Jordie Bellaire. But the colors really add tensions in every scene, like in the scenes that they need to be tense, and it just sets the tone for a lot of these moments with conflict, with action, or even just a conversation, like I was talking about. So they make a great team. So the art in this book is fantastic. This story is only 5 issues long, so it's not as it's a smaller trade paperback, but it's definitely quite enjoyable. I read it very quickly. I read the first issue when it originally came out, and I was waiting for the collection to read it. So yeah, you can either pick up the trade paperback, read it all on Marvel Unlimited, however you want to do that. But I highly, highly recommend you check this one out. It's got some beautiful covers, a lot of variant covers as well if you want to go hunt those down. So yeah, very excited that I read this. Very excited about the show. I really enjoyed the first episode. We have a review on the channel, so make sure to go check that out. So as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here on the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.